name's Julia, and we're doing a radio.com check-in right now with Justin Bieber. How are you?
Good. Good to see you.
Good to
I
see
like your
you.
hair.
Thank you. Got the roots touched up this time, so we're doing all right.
I like it.
Oh, wait. I got to show you. Look at my footwork.
Oh, let's go.
By the way, so comfortable. They look good with everything. Like, what are we talking about?
Let's go. Thank you so much for saying that.
Of course. Well, hey, congrats on Justice. I mean, I knew this one was going to hit different since the release of Holy, and it's already breaking records and it's just getting started. So it's so great to watch.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. I mean, the album to me, I feel like if I were to personally sum it up, it's comforting. And I saw somebody say this on Twitter and I was like, yes, it said, he's not just singing, he's extending comfort to anybody listening.
Wow.
Do you feel that way about it?
I hope so. I hope that that's what it's doing.
Yeah. I mean, to me, when I listen to it, like in like a breakdown of all the lyrics and like what you were kind of doing with like, you know, your music videos and everything else, it was almost like, yeah, like, hey, I get you and I'm working on it too. And I've come a long way. And here's my growth as I continue to figure it out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's a good synopsis.
How are you feeling about it since it's been out in the world for like 3 days now?
I feel great. Yeah, I feel great.
Yeah.
I'm excited that people are enjoying it.
And I mean, this one to me, like I love changes and I've loved everything you've done, but this one feels different. And not only from what's on the body of work, but the intentional rollout of everything, of each record with the super deep meanings and then the messaging in your music videos to your performances. It all seems like it's coming from like a better place, like a healthy, like intentional place. Is that true? And how's it feeling for you, like while doing it?
Yeah, I think for me personally, I think the last project I was just working through my own emotional stuff in my own life and some insecurities and just some fears. And, you know, my wife and I were just so newly married. So there was just so much to navigate. You know, we're now blending our lives together. And that's just a challenging process. And so as that process became easier to, you know, predict, I think having that predictability changed my ability to you know, just function at a more healthy level, I think.
Yeah. Do you think the quarantine and kind of being stuck in one place for a while helped?
I think so, yeah. I think it was having the ability to you know, have access to a studio and still work in the time where a lot of people I like to preface this because, you know, I feel like it's just so important because there are people who don't have access to a job right now because of the isolation and quarantine and all that jazz. Things are starting to change and open up and people are getting the vaccine and it's looking hopeful. But as far as you know, me being able to go in the studio, I just wanted to seize that opportunity. I'm like, what am I doing with my life if I'm not jumping on this opportunity to use the studio and my gifts and stuff.
When did the point come where you kind of decided, you know, you were going to do another album? Did you just get in the studio and start vibing and see what came about? And like, where did Justice like really take form?
Yeah, so usually it's kind of a longer process from album to album, but
Yeah.
with this process, it was you know, I just had time and I didn't really have an ability to perform the last album. So I'm like, well, what I can do in the meantime is I can make some more music and just see what happens. And so that's kind of what happened. I just made music and kind of seen what happened.
Yeah. And your performances have been so great to watch. I feel like, you know, you're really feeling it in your soul this time around. And like, just, I don't know, like it's just inspiring. How's it been performing again?
It's been really nice. It's been definitely a long time coming. And I just can't wait to perform for like people in the same room. That's going to be nice.
Yeah. Do you have tour plans yet? I mean, you know, with everything going on, and is there anything like in your docket?
I think things are kind of I think we have things tentatively as we speak. They have stuff to show me, so that's good.
Well, is there, you know, a way you're going to approach like doing touring differently on a personal level this time around? Because I know it can be so stressful and like hard on an artist to be gone for that long.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, touring can definitely be grueling. And I think the same way I was able to kind of set boundaries for this project and be able to, prioritize just time with my wife and just time that I'm not working and kind of be off the grid. I think as long as I do that throughout this tour, it's always kind of like you live and you learn, and you just kind of like learn how to just say no. There was this quote the other day that I heard. It was like, don't be resentful about something you say yes to, just do it. And then when you're done, reassess your boundaries and don't do it again. So I kind of am trying to live by that.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you feel like, setting boundaries and putting these like healthy practices in your life really helped with this album?
Yeah. And I think definitely setting boundaries and all of those things helped. I think as far as like my confidence and being able to be confident throughout this process, it's just been kind of like how I view my relationship with God, and my faith has played an enormous part in my confidence level and my ability to continue to put my heart on the line and be vulnerable and face people not liking it, and just being able to continue to just do it.
It's great to hear that. I love that. Well, let's dive into the album. Why did you decide to go with the title Justice?
I decided to go with the title Justice for a couple of different reasons. One of the main reasons being the fact that, obviously there's a lot of injustice going on in this world as we speak. There has been for, since the beginning of time. And I just wanted to keep that conversation going of what does it look like to be a part of the solution and not the problem. And um, I wanted to, my name actually means justice in Latin, is the translation. And so that was that was another reason. And I always like to pick these really powerful themes for each one of my projects, whether it's purpose tour, changes, or just something that's really going to connect with people and make them, take a second and just ask themselves these kind of important questions of what that looks like: justice, purpose, those things.
Yeah. Why was it important to you to include the MLK narrative throughout?
Great question. I think as far as injustice is one of the main injustices in this country and all over the world is racial injustice. And one of my favorite, most inspirational people to ever live for me is Martin Luther King. And I've learned a lot from his messages, and I really wanted to just amplify his voice to maybe people who haven't heard some of his talks, and just continue that conversation as well.
Yeah. Well, the album kicks off with one of my favorite songs on the body of work, which is Too Much. Are you meticulous in the way you arrange songs on the album? And like, why did you choose this one to be like the first impression?
Um, so Too Much, it really reminded me of the simplicity of the intro of my last album, which I'm drawing a blank on. It was my intro. Mark My Words. Mark My Words was the intro of my last, or of Purpose, and it kind of has that slow, emotional intro that kind of brings you right into your feels right away. And so that was the goal with this, is just to kind of bring you into your feels right away.
Yeah. And didn't Skrillex produce it?
I believe so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I love how like stripped down it is and knowing that he was part of making that because it's so unlike when you think of Skrillex.
Right, right. I think that Skrillex really is a tastemaker, and I think he kind of understands sometimes that simple is better. And I think sometimes he's so complex, but sometimes he's just able to just strip it down, which is cool.
Yeah. You have some incredible features on here. Why did the Kid Leroy feel like the perfect fit for Unstable?
Great question. I think that the Kid Leroy has, I'm still getting to know him as a person, but I think he's faced some challenges as a human, just in his journey of life. And I think, that kind of that translates in his music. I think when he sings, there's a level of pain there that I think people can feel when he's singing, and I think that translates to people who are also going through pain. And so it was just such an honor to have him on that song.
Yeah, I was gonna say he reminds me of a younger version of you. Like he's so talented. He's, so
Thank you.
young still. And one of my favorite moments when I was watching Billie Eilish's documentary was when you called her after the Grammys. What do you feel when you look at artists like her and the Kid Laroi? And is it important to you to be a guide and reach out to them like that?
I think for me, yeah, it's important that that if there's anything that they need help with navigating, that I can be maybe a helpful source. But I think, like, it's ultimately up to them to want to ask those questions. And like, I don't want to be overly like, hey, you should do this or you should do that. It's everyone's journey. And like,
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes when you're kind of can force things of like, hey, don't do this or don't do this, you got to kind of just let people go through life and use you if they feel they need to.
Yeah, well, and I think from, what we've seen of you and Billie Eilish's friendship is that you're just a support for her. And I feel like that's so great, especially for how much she admires you.
Yeah.
So I already told you, Too Much is one of my favorite songs on there. I obviously also love Peaches, but one of my favorites that I can't stop listening to is As I Am. I love that song so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Where did that song start and, what made Khalid the perfect fit for it?
Wow. So that song started kind of almost like a year ago. It came to the table and the song was really good, but it wasn't where it needed to be as far as lyrically, and the beat was kind of all over the place. So we just kind of like dialed in on the song and took time and making it kind of as perfect as it possibly could be. And then kind of later into the game, we reached out to Khalid and I just said, hey, man, I would love you to be a part of this project. I have this really cool song and I would love for you to listen to it and tell me if it resonates. And if it does, I would love you to put on a verse. And so he did. And yeah, that's kind of how it came to be.
Yeah, and I love that you experimented with a bunch of different sounds on this album. What was it like for you finding where you wanted to go sonically? I mean, because there's touches of 80s inspired synth to the ballads to the R&B. Um, you know, did you kind of know you wanted to go there or did it just happen?
It just kind of happened. The songs kind of fell into my lap, and I just love good music, and I love music that moves my emotions, and whatever it's sonically that is, it's kind of okay with me. I've made country music, I've made a lot of different styles of music, and so for me, it's just whether it connects to me emotionally or not.
Yeah. Was there ever a style that you haven't touched yet that you're kind of interested in creating with?
Is there a style that I haven't been in touch with
Or
that
that you
I
haven't tried, creating?
well, I haven't really tried like I I really love Frank Sinatra. And that kind of vibe would be fun to kind of try to maybe see if I would sound good singing that kind of music. I don't know. It'd be an interesting kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, you got, like I said, you have a ton of great features on this album. You got Khalid, Kid Laroi, Dominic Fike, Daniel Caesar, and Givian, and more. Is there a feature you wanted on this album that, didn't particularly make it, or maybe that you considered or you thought of after that? You're like, oh, maybe for the next one?
Well, there's a lot of people that I still want to collaborate with. I love, there's a lot of female artists that I love right now. I love her. I love Janae Aiko. I love SZA. I love Casey Musgraves. And so, yeah, I would love to work with a lot of different people. And so I'm just excited to see what doors open.
Yeah, definitely. I want to talk about the song Ghost really quick because, this feels like a really important piece to the album. Am I right in saying that?
Definitely, for sure.
Why was it important to you?
Well, I think that a lot of people in this day and age, in this time, are losing loved ones due to this crazy virus. And but there's a lot of people who have lost people from other things, and just lose people might not be a death, but have lost people that were in their life for a season. And now that person isn't. So it's just like that can be feel like a loss, almost like you grieving that person. And so this song is kind of like that vibe of um of grieving that person, but still having hope in the process of like, the beat is very still kind of like it's got that uplifting kind of beat that still makes you feel hopeful through that feeling of loss and discouragement.
Definitely. Well, on a lighter note, everybody is loving Peaches, which makes me so excited. Like it has been my most listened to song all weekend. It's, so vibey. It feels like summer. It feels like driving around, which fits the music video perfectly. Do you want to talk about how Peaches came about? Because from what I understand, it's a pretty cool story, right?
It is a really cool story. So what happened was I had written this little hook idea with at Andrew Watt's house, who was a friend of mine, and Shawn Mendes was actually there, and we were just all hanging and talking and making music, and I just came up with this little vibe, and so I played it on the piano. I put it on this little, I came up with these words, da 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 da. And then later on, I just like posted a snippet on my Instagram, and then one of my producer friends turned it into an actual song. And I was like, this is crazy. Re-recorded my vocals, and the rest is kind of history.
Yeah, I love the music video for it. It looked like you were having so much fun.
I was, yeah. It's so fun to just like that opportunity. I just felt like, once again, like just being so present. I don't know if I talked about it in this interview or if it was another interview, but just like being able to enjoy this process has been everything for me, because I've looked back at different album cycles and things that I just was, not seeing all of the seeing everything for what it really was. And I just was distracted and hurting, and like, I couldn't experience joy because I was experiencing so much pain. And so like, this process, being able to be in pain for the people that are hurting in my life, but also being able to be present in the things that I'm enjoying, and the things that I believe God put me on this earth to do, has been really rewarding, as far as like being able to be on that Peaches set and really be like, wow, like all of this is set up so that I can do what I love. Look at all these lights, like look at all of the, this opportunity for me to connect with two of my favorite artists. Like, I think my perspective as I get older has changed.
Yeah. And to be honest, like it seems like you've been so present throughout this rollout, because every song has come with this incredible music video that tells this story. And has the music video aspect of this been much different?
Yeah, the music video aspect is just like, it's something that I really enjoy. I love entertaining. Like that's one of my favorite things about this whole process, is the entertaining factor, the putting on a show. And so like having the ability to, whether it's like me being in a role of like telling a story, or just performing the song and having high energy, and just like, that's I feel my gift. And so it's been really exciting.
I love that. Well, I have to ask on behalf of everyone and myself, because I loved the snippet that we heard. Are we ever going to get La Bamba?
I don't know. I think
the people want it.
That's amazing. I think that song is a great song. And I think I was trying something new. And I think, it didn't really make sense with this project, but
sure.
Who knows what happens in the future.
Okay, well, we'll keep our fingers crossed on that. Okay. Justin, congratulations on everything. This has been so fun to watch roll out, even like I said, since Holy, and every single you've released since, and seeing the success of this just feels so well deserved. Congratulations.
Thank you for saying that. That means a lot.
Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your day. Okay. Thank you so much.
You too. Appreciate you.
Yes.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell for all notifications from radio.com. While you're at it, why don't you check out some of our other great videos.